Today, in this video, we're going to talk about it can't be happening again. Is one of the Ravens coaches throwing Lamar under the bus once again? Also, you ever get that feeling that you've seen something before and you just can't put your finger on it? Something to keep in mind for the 2024 season and beyond. All that and more coming up now. Okay, in Ravens news, we're going to start off this video talking about John Harbaugh being on the Rich Eisen show. And in talking with Rich Eisen, of course, inevitably brought up the topic of the AFC Championship game and the run-pass option. Now, to some, they took what John Harbaugh said to heart. Some people just brushed it off as him being the politician that he is and saying stuff that he would normally say anyway. But take a listen.
How often do you think about the AFC Championship game and the run-pass split that was such a conversation after it?
Right. I mean, it's a great conversation. It's definitely wasn't the goal, And I think what the Chiefs basically decided to do, Steve Spagnuolo, their great defensive coordinator, basically said, we're going to make you beat us in a certain way. And it was going to be by beating press coverage with a loaded box. And how are you going to do that? And we need to make plays against that, really in the passing game, to be honest with you. In order to do that, or we had to pack the whole formation in and just play an old school 3 yards in a cloud of dust game, which we've done before, but that really wasn't our game plan going in. That's not the way we tried to do it. So how I look at it is, and how Lamar looks at it, and he and I have had this conversation, is that we've got to build ourselves up in ways that we can handle that in the future and deal with that when it comes up, and basically make people pay for playing us in that kind of defense. So, we weren't able to do it in that game the way we wanted to do it, and we're going to have to figure out a way to do it.
Now, some took this as, hey, the Kansas City Chiefs loaded the box and they dared us to throw. Lamar just couldn't hit the throws, and it's something that he needs to get better at. That's how a lot of people are taking it. And if you look back at some of the things that happened, especially during the contract negotiations with Lamar Jackson, you heard EDC and John Harbaugh mention a few little things, give a couple jabs, some slights to Lamar, and put a lot of the onus on him. To me, I just think it's Harbs being Harbs, deflecting, maybe not even having the answer, because it's apparent that he did not have this answer during that game. He didn't have the answer after the game. And I think to this day, he still doesn't know exactly what happened. But of course, being the politician that he is, he talked his way out of it. Now, to me personally, as the head coach, I don't care if it's Todd Monken, I don't care if it's Lamar Jackson audibling at the line of scrimmage. You as the head coach are in control. You are the alpha, the dominant force that runs this machine. And if you feel like the run calls aren't being played or they're being changed at the line of scrimmage, it is up to you, Jonathan, to say something to your quarterback. It is up to you, Jonathan, to say something to your offensive coordinator and change things around. Because as we all know, and it's been beaten to death, the Ravens were never out of this game. They were always within striking distance. And once again, these playoff failures are starting to mount up in the same form and fashion. Stop throwing Lamar under the bus if that is in actuality what you were doing. And if you were not, just tell him, I don't know. The game got away from me. I don't know. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs may have loaded the box on this game, but as we all know, they were one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. They just got ran upon in the week's prior game. Buffalo Bills, not necessarily known as a rushing team, ran all over them. We're supposed to be the rough and tough Baltimore Ravens, playing in the AFC North. Smash mouth football, known for running the ball. Just because they put 8 men in a box, guess what? They also had to account for Lamar running. So sometimes when you have to account for the quarterback as you would a running back, that nullifies certain things. And these were things that we have not tried. We did not try. So John Harbaugh, just my personal opinion, do better. Now, speaking of Jonathan Harbaugh and coaching, I know a lot of us don't think those two are mutually exclusive. We don't put them together a lot because a lot of people think that John Harbaugh does not do coaching. He does politicking. He does motivation. But this year, if any, in Ravens' recent history, is the time for Jonathan Harbaugh to get up on his high horse and preach to the mountaintops. This would be the season. And I say that because I'm getting this feeling, and I'm sure a lot of Ravens fans as well are getting this feeling of deja vu, like things are lining up so similarly. Now, it just may be me looking too much into it because I want my team to win a Super Bowl, but I feel like some of these things are just a little too coincidental to ignore. Harbaugh can jump up and speak to this iteration of the Baltimore Ravens and explain to them exactly what happened to his Ravens team in 2011. And then he can go on to explain to them what happened in 2012. As y'all know, we lost the championship game and the next year went on to win the Super Bowl. This year, we lost the championship game. We'll see what happens. 2012, the Super Bowl was in New Orleans. 2024, the Super Bowl is in New Orleans once again. So those similarities are a little eerie to me, but it goes a little bit further than that. Let's just take a look back at the history, a look back at the franchise. And if you look back at 2007, the Baltimore Ravens missed the playoffs, drafted a rookie quarterback in Joe Flacco, and proceeded to go to the playoffs for 5 years straight, culminating with the Super Bowl win in year 5. Then 2017, Baltimore Ravens don't make the playoffs. 2018, the Baltimore Ravens drafted quarterback in the first round, and voila, go to the playoffs once again. Now, this is where these similarities, you have to kind of dig deep. Now, this may be me going a little bit too far into it, but this is where you dig deep. Joe Flacco took the Ravens to the playoffs for 5 straight years, and in that 5th year, he won a Super Bowl. Now, Lamar Jackson, if you look back at it, 2024 will be his 5th starting year in the playoffs. Will he take us to a Super Bowl? I don't know, because you have to take away 2021 when Lamar got injured and the Ravens did not make the playoffs. Then in 2022, he was injured again and Huntley was the quarterback of that playoff team. So 2024 is going to be the 5th year of Lamar Jackson being in the playoffs as the starter. So that to me is just like, wow. It's just lining everything up for us. It's putting it right there in front of us. And this is why we harp on the Ravens to make certain moves. This is why we want them to make the team as best as possible, because the stars are aligning, even though they were pretty much aligned last year with scoring being down in the NFL, Chiefs being as bad as they were, and just quarterbacks being injured. Ravens could not take advantage of it. Hopefully this wish upon a star will take us where we need to go. So in looking at it, we look back, 2008, the Baltimore Ravens went 11-5, lost in the conference championship to the Steelers. In 2020, the Baltimore Ravens went 11-5, lost in the divisional round to the Tennessee Titans. 2009, Baltimore Ravens went 9-7 and lost in the divisional round to the Colts. In 2021, the Ravens went 8-9 and did not make the playoffs. In 2010, the Ravens went 12-4, lost in the divisional round to the Steelers once again. In 2022, they went 10-7 and lost in the wild card round to the Bengals. In 2011, the Ravens went 12-4 once again, lost in the conference championship to the New England Patriots in heartbreaking fashion. First, it was the drop touchdown, strip touchdown, whatever you want to call it, from Lee Evans. Then it was the missed game tying field goal from Billy Cundrell, which inevitably gave us Justin Tucker. So 6 in one hand, half a dozen in another. In 2023, the Ravens went 13-4, losing in the conference championship to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, another similarity here is 2011, they lost 4 games. 2023, lost 4 games. All of these numbers are lining up. I'm not into astrology and all of these things, but I do believe some things are supposed to be. Some things come to fruition just because you believe it to be so. Then in 2012, of course, the Ravens went 10-6 and won the Super Bowl versus the 49ers. And in 2024, you guessed it, we don't know yet, but we're hoping. This is the hope and the wish for us. Things just need to pan out the way we need it to. Also, if you need even more proof, in 2012, the Baltimore Ravens played the NFC East. Guess who they played in 2024? The NFC East. They also played the Kansas City Chiefs in 2012. They played the Kansas City Chiefs once again in 2024. So all of these things are lining up. So what I want is for John Harbaugh to get in front of his team and let them know, listen, this is what's possible. This is what it takes to win a championship. Don't sit back and be the rah-rah guy. Be the man that stands up and leads them to where they need to go. And if your players aren't getting certain things done, or if your coaches aren't getting certain things done the way that they should, step up and be the head coach that you should be. Now, speaking of 2024 and putting this team together, building this roster into a championship level roster, and why a lot of us are so hard on the Ravens about wanting them to go in certain directions, wanting them to do certain things and stop the redundancy of needing certain players in certain positions each and every single season. Now, I know this is a way too early look into the 2025 free agents, but for me, this is very important, because if the Ravens seem to fail or falter and don't get it done, we're going to go into the 3rd iteration of what the Baltimore Ravens are going to be in a quest for a championship. That's why you constantly hear me talking about go all in. Do what you need to do and get this championship now, because we don't know what things are going to look like. And looking at 2025, being that the Ravens always seem to have salary cap issues, being that they have little money to spend, it's a lot of free agents. Listen, the Ravens had 25 or so free agents this offseason. Next year, they're going to have around 17. So that's over 40 free agents that the Ravens are going to have in 2 seasons. And as well as these rookies may perform, as well as you want them to be or with whom we draft, you're not going to be able to fill all those spots effectively to stay on the trajectory that the Ravens are going in right now. So let's take a look at some of the free agents coming up in 2025 and why I said the Ravens should have went in certain directions during the draft or possibly picked up certain free agents because, man, if the Ravens don't get it done this year, First up, we're going to start off with Ronnie Stanley. I don't know if many of you knew with Stanley restructuring his deal that this was the last year of his deal. I didn't know that. I thought that there was something else going on, but hey, Ronnie Stanley in 2025 is going to be an unrestricted free agent. So we're possibly losing the best option that we have right now at left tackle. And if we re-sign him, of course, it's going to be a cap-friendly deal, but you still have to re-sign him to some money, and he's a left tackle. So he's going to get paid somewhat. But I damn sure thought that we had a little bit more time with Ronnie Stanley, even though he's not the Ronnie Stanley role. So that's one position of need that we need to fill. Another reason why we said go out here and sign somebody to be the eventual replacement for Ronnie Stanley, just in case. Also, we have Brandon Stevens, who is going to be an unrestricted free agent as well. Now, I know that's why the Ravens went out and got Nate Wiggins to possibly be his successor or his replacement. But if Brandon Stevens has another season like he had last season, he's going to command a lot of money and he's going to be gone. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, hey, that's why we drafted Nate Wiggins in the first round. Well, guess what? We didn't get Brandon Stevens in the first round. But hey, don't know what the Ravens are actually going to do with him during that offseason, but he is a key piece to this defense. Another loss would possibly be the swing tackle, Pat McCarr. He is also going to be an unrestricted free agent in 2025. To me, not going to miss him too much because the whole thing with him was he can replace multiple positions on the line. Doesn't come in and do it effectively, in my opinion, and he doesn't do it quite often. So to me, that's money wasted. Just having a standby just in case. How about you have a standby that actually plays? How about you have somebody that's getting starter type money actually play and not just having to say just in case? So McCarry, don't know what his role is going to be after this season. My man. All right, another unrestricted free agent is going to be Hard R. Card. I mean, it's a fullback. What else is there to say? It's 2020. It's going to be after the 2024 season. It's going into 2025. You need a fullback for. Next, Nelson Aguilar. Actually, he has one of his void years, so the Ravens are going to have to decide what they're going to do with him. So that's going to be another wide receiver down. But I know most are going to say, hey, that's why we signed Bateman to an extension. All right, linebacker Malik Harrison. He's also an unrestricted free agent. Special teams work. Sometimes situationally he has good plays, not too much loss. A lot of people's favorite running back Justice Hill is an unrestricted free agent. Don't know if the Ravens are going to resign him. Even if they do, I don't think he's going to cost that much money. But me personally, you can let him walk. He doesn't really, to me, move the needle or contribute that much to a team. He darn sure does not decide to participate in pass blocking. That's just something he just refuses to participate in. I don't know if it's written in his contract, will not pass block, but it is just something that he really does not do. Also, we have everybody's favorite, Jones, that they picked up from Houston. He is an unrestricted free agent. So essentially we got him for 1 year. And then if he comes in here and becomes a starter, is this going to be another John Simpson deal? He comes in as a starter, does semi-well, and moves on to another team and makes money? That seems like a waste. Also, Brent Erb next. Deontay Hardy. He's essentially on a 1 year deal. He will be an unrestricted free agent as well. This is only important for kick return and punt return duties as they have changed the rule, and he may make a difference on this team. We're not counting on him to be a wide receiver, but if they don't re-sign him, we have to go looking for a returner once again. But if they do re-sign him, shouldn't be too much money, but still, every dollar counts. Then you also have our Darius Washington, who, by all intents and purposes, is going to be the third safety for this team this season. He can also double as a slot corner, but injuries has plagued his career, and I think he's only played in 8 games so far. Can't be relied upon, but if he can stay healthy this season, he may be able to prove his value and maybe take over a Geno Stone type role, not necessarily leading in picks, but coming in and making an impact. I know the Ravens drafted a safety in the 7th round, but what are the odds of him actually making a team? So Darius Washington, we'll see. Then we move on to Ben Cleveland, everybody's favorite for right guard. So once again, we get to this conundrum where We get a player, he does nothing, he does nothing, he does nothing. Contract year, he pops, then we let him walk. Is this what's going to happen with Ben Cleveland? Is he even going to win the starting job? If he does and plays well, will he be on the team beyond 2025? And I think one big thing that gets lost in translation with all of this in the offensive line talk is cohesion. Offensive linemen playing together for an extended period of time, knowing each other, knowing what each other's capable of, the communication out on the field. I think that's the one thing that keeps getting lost in all this. And this high turnaround rate, just moving pieces around and bringing guys in here and there, I don't think that that's well or really conducive to a winning team. But of course, we have Lamar Jackson, and when you have Lamar Jackson, you're going to win. Last but not least, Tylan Wallace. Doesn't contribute anything at the wide receiver spot. He does have special team value, and the special teams value that he had has been replaced by Hardy. Also, if Malik Cunningham comes in and does some things, who knows? But to me, sorry, it's bye-bye Tylan. It's been a good run. Not for you, but it's been a good run. Just to sum this up to say, this is why I think it is so important for the Baltimore Ravens this season to put all their chips in, push them all in the middle, and make this run for the Super Bowl. Because after this season and beyond, we don't know what's happening. I know that they're putting plans in place to replace a lot of these players, but we don't know what those players can do. We know what these players can do. And if you add something on top of it, if you add something to help get us over that hump, and I know Derrick Henry is one of those pieces to get us there, but in all actuality, are you surrounding that offense with enough? Are you surrounding Henry with blockers that are going to get those tough yards that we need come playoff time? Y'all can miss me with the, well, in the regular season, yes, we're going to win in the regular season. It's a given. But it's come playoff time when things get rough and the games get tighter. I know a lot of you guys watch the NBA. And if you watch the NBA through the regular season, you have teams ripping and running up and down the court, making plays, winning games. When it comes playoff time and the best of the best plays, when the creme de la creme comes and you have to tighten up, teams don't make it. That seems to be us. So I just want us to go out and get all the valuable pieces that we can. I'm not saying go out here, build a super team. Just get the players that we need to win, because you don't know what the future holds. And in other news, the Baltimore Ravens have signed Nate Wiggins to his contract. They got that done pretty fast. I know that the rookie minicamp is about to start, and to have him come in and get acclimated was pretty big. I believe that they signed 3 other rookies as well, so hopefully we won't have any contract situations. They can come in here and get a little work in before OTAs and minicamp begins. Also, if you haven't seen by now, your boy Charlie Kolar got his hair did. He said, I've never really seen a white boy with cornrows or braids, and decided to get his hair done. He came to the facility, wore his hat, then decided in the middle of the locker room and just yanked that thing off. And Lamar Jackson laughed hysterically. Then took a picture of it and shared it on social media. So it's a little bit of levity, a little bit of lightheartedness going on with the team. Something that we don't have to stress about and actually makes us laugh. And lastly, my dismay, read a report that said Dalton Risner is asking for a lot of money. He is frustrated he has not gotten a long-term deal done over the past few seasons, and he's looking for a certain price point. I'm pretty sure whatever that price point is, it is outside of what the Ravens are willing to offer him. So that kills the hopes of Dalton Risner coming and helping out this team, because he is by far the best offensive lineman, the best guard still available in free agency. So here's hoping somebody gets released on June 1st and the Ravens can sign him and pick him up and make this team better. But until then, we'll see. All right, appreciate y'all. This is another one in the books. Make sure to like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. You know the routine. Like, y'all been doing it a lot more frequently lately, and I appreciate it. Like, we starting to soar, we starting to take off. This YouTube thing is going pretty well, and it's all because of you. And I appreciate you. Because of you. Once again, I just want to say thank you all. But don't forget all the stuff, because apparently I'm always asking people to like and subscribe. But it seems to always come at the end of videos. It always seems that everybody else asks to like and subscribe. Why am I being singled out? Easy. It is real.
Haters gonna hate.
So until next time, y'all.